world today. When I get an email from someone, and they're using text speak. Yeah. Instead of saying you are spelled Y-O-U-A-R-E, they write down the letters U and R. It drives me bananas.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
So are you pretty strict? I mean, they have to still use proper English, proper grammar?
Absolutely. I wrote. I had an academic grade 10 English class last year at another school. A student wrote IDK for I don't know. And I started twitching, and I wrote minus 100 points, and let him know that just wasn't going to fly.
In the real world, actually, it's really funny. I was talking to my boss here the other day, and he said he actually received a resume from a young person full of text speak on their resume.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there must be some concern from parents thinking, oh, my goodness, like, what is he doing to my child's education? but you're pretty strict on what they're submitting via text.
I am. I'm still an English teacher. The bottom line is, I'm still trying to get them to a point where they can utilize language for their benefit. For communication purposes, we have to appreciate that this is not. This is typically, anyways. This is a class not full of people who are going on to be writers and teachers and whatnot. They've got other things in mind, which is fine. I was lucky to had a grade 10 science, with myself. So we're not all meant to be good at everything. So what we're just trying to do is meet them where they're at. Let's forget about trying to push them towards Pulitzers, and let's just get them engaged. Let's get them involved with class, and it's much easier for a student. Any teacher will agree with this. It's much easier for a student to opt out of an activity that they don't feel like they're going to have any success in.
Right. Hey, what happens if a student in your class doesn't have a cell phone?
Once again, the participation with the cell phone activities is optional, and I try to make sure that I have, alternative activities or alternative methods of communicating with the students that don't have cell phones. And in this class, there are only 3 out of 21.
I was going to ask how many people. I mean, but we're talking high school, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you have any occasion to communicate with students younger? I'm just wondering, how young typically is too young to have a cell phone, or at what age do most kids start owning one?
I think it's pretty common, from what I've heard, that students will have cell phones as early as grade 6 or 7.
Okay.
The young lady who was in the newspaper article, and she was interviewed by the reporter there, she had hers at grade 7, and I think that's what most of my students would say, grade 7, grade 8. Frankly, I personally, having made it all the way through high school without a cell phone. Actually, I still don't have a cell phone, if you can believe it.
It's 2010.
Yeah. I think it's crackers that the grade 7 students have cell phones, but I'm not going to lead a crusade to try and do away with them.
If they are so prevalent, I honestly, hats off to you for finding a way to take something that they're going to be doing anyways and putting such a positive twist onto it. Have you found that since you've been doing this in your own classroom, I know you've been taking flack from some of the other teachers, but are there any other teachers who have actually come on board with this or who are supportive of you?
Well, so far now, I've had no one at this school give me any grief. Most of the criticism that I've had so far has been online. Where the article was posted on the newspaper's website. So I'm not even certain that it's teachers who are making the criticisms. Most of my awareness of objections come from my anticipation of objections and my own position, I think, before I started this course of activities, right? This sort of program won't necessarily work for other classes or other courses. We have to understand we're dealing with students who will say when it's time to hand in an essay, or write something between 10 and 15 sentences for a five-paragraph essay, because that's, their language arts skills are not strong, and that's, some of them, that's as much as they can produce. That's a solid effort. And so when we're dealing with that, we're looking at an assignment that's 150 to 200 words instead of 1,500. And so that's why this works as well as it does. I think at this stage, I'd be interested to see how teachers could make it work with more academic level courses. I'm certainly going to keep trying. Like I say, I'm in the infancy with my experiment right now, and I like it. It's been positively received by the students, and I've seen my participation in this class go from I'll ballpark, but go from 60% to 85 or 90%. And that's significant, for this class and the time of the day. It's always in the afternoon, and it's a dreadful time of the day for me. Never mind for students in English, right? So it's to see the participation numbers rise like that makes me feel like I'm going to be onto something that is good for students.
I think so too. I think, as I mentioned off the top, anything that can engage a child, make them want to get involved and capture their interest is a positive thing. So, Paul, hats off to you. Thanks so much for the chat today. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
That's Paul Heppleston. He's an English teacher, a high school English teacher out in Newfoundland. I still think what a fabulous idea.